Hi everyone, this is Elisa from REProphet, and I just wanted to walk you through a couple of new features that you might have noticed in REProphet. When you land on your profit and loss page, as soon as you log in, you're going to notice that there's a search window now in the middle of the page next to operating expenses. So you can now search your transactions without going separately to the transactions page. And you can know what category and subcategory they're located under. Speaking of the transactions page, there's a lot of improvements here. First and foremost, when you open up an attached account and click the sub account, you're going to see a new button. Instead of import file, you also have add transaction now. So that means you can add an individual transaction to a sub account really easily. Let's say you made a purchase with cash for an open house flower display that you wanted to put out, just some flowers, really nice. And that cost you $25. It wasn't a giant bouquet. And you want to just put that in other expenses. Theoretically, we're just going to save that and close that. And now that debit has been added to your account. So it's that simple to add a transaction instead of having to bring it in a spreadsheet. Something else that is new here is the ability to edit multiple. So anything you check off, when you click that edit transaction in line and you choose a category, let's say occupancy, rent, desk fee, and you save that change, you're going to notice that everything you checked off in this column is then going to change to whatever you changed your category to in that transaction, in that inline edit. So that's pretty cool, but wait, you made a mistake. That wasn't what you meant to do at all. No problem. We now have the undo last change button, which is something new and great. And it returns you to where you used to be. That's particularly helpful if you accidentally hit the apply to all button. Okay, so something else that I wanted to show you while we're here is when we move over to this page, you'll click your name, you'll click manage account, and it will move you over to this area. You'll see something new. You have the ability now to archive a custom subcategory. Any subcategories you've created as a custom subcategory, they're going to show up here, and you can decide to archive or unarchive any of them. What does archiving mean? It just means that anything you've previously categorized under this custom subcategory will remain, but by clicking and hitting archive, you're going to not see tools you no longer use or duplicate subcategories popping up when you go to categorize a transaction. So everything you've already categorized will remain under that, let's say, City Blast. All of these archived City Blast transactions remain. You're just not going to see City Blast anymore now that you've archived it under lead generation as one of your subcategories. So that's been something a lot of folks have been requesting, and I'm so happy that we were able to get that functional and keep your categorization as you had originally set it. Something else that is really user-driven is the ability to categorize cost of sale. Woo, that's finally here. So here's where you're sourcing your income, here's your GCI, here's your automatically calculated cost of sale, and you're just going to now, once you've generated your cost of sale and saved this deposit details section, then you have the ability to categorize said section. So let's say you have a TC or transaction coordinator, you pay $250 out of before you ever get your check. That's something that you might want to categorize as an operating expense. So you can pull it from cost of sale now by selecting subtract expense. Then you can decide wherever you normally categorize transaction coordinators. I would recommend professional services as a subcategory of salaries, benefits, and then you submit that, and you can see here your remaining cost of sale now has $250 pulled from it because it has been moved to operating expenses, salaries, benefits, professional services. By the same token, you can also add a categorize cost of sale that is a split with a team member. Let's say you have a split with your team member, Paul McHugh. I've created Paul McHugh as a custom subcategory of split with team member because that's my team member that I would normally have a split with. You can just click his name, submit, and you can see this categorized cost of sale does not change at all because all you're doing is categorizing where part of that cost of sale went. You can add in your brokerage. You can get as granular as you'd like. So if you wanted to do something that's just your team split, you're on a team, and let's say your team takes 1,500 of this, just so you know, you can just say submit, or it might be more, whatever. And then let's say you give something to charity out of each closing. I know for KW agents, there is KW Cares where you can give a contribution at the end, but you don't want that to be inside of your cost of sale. You'd like to see that taken out and put where you might normally put a charitable contribution, other expenses, charitable contributions. Cool. We can just subtract that now and it will appear under your operating expenses, and your cost of sale will have that $25 subtracted out of it. So you can see things that do not pull out of the cost of sale, they just categorize it. They just explain where that money went. And then when you say subtract expense, that pulls it out of cost of sale and moves it to another place. For both of these, it's operating expenses, specifically salaries, benefits, professional services, or other expenses, charitable contributions. Hopefully that makes sense and wasn't too detailed. I'm going to just make sure that's saved, close out, and show you where that will live. That will actually be under your cost of sale report. So you can open up 100 Diamond Hill and you can see this data. So this is a whole new report, and it's going to show you all of the details of the granular breakout cost of sale things that you've done. And so I was going to show you the expenses that you pulled out. It's not going to show you specifically what those are because those are populating on your P&L under operating expenses. So that's the cost of sale report. While we're in reports, when we're improvement on ROI, we actually can open up individual ROI categories so you can see exactly what came from where. Realtor.com is clearly a good investment for this realtor. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. You can email support@REProphet.com or give us a call at 860-937-6868. And I hope everyone is having a great week, and I look forward to talking with you. We welcome your suggestions. If you'd like to see some new features in REProphet, please get in touch. Okay, thanks. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.